Hello. Good to see you.
Alright there, Revenants, welcome back to Code Vein in the Road to 100, where today, hopefully the recording holds out, unlike yesterday. So what we are going to be doing here in the Crypt Spire today is we are going to be mixing a little bit of very hard-hitting damage values coming from our weapon, mixed with a little bit of lighter damage coming from our Blood Veil, with a little bit of dark and Pierce Ice mixed in here together, and we are going to be also running the-wisp. Now, this is all going to run on Artemis, as this is a very dex willpower heavy build, but the nice thing is that it also comes with a pretty substantial fortitude value, so we have pretty high stamina overall, all things considered. So if you look at something like Warrior, we have 33 more stamina than that, and Ishtar is one of the higher blood codes in the game with stamina, and we are at 264. We're only 19 lower than that. We're only 22 lower than Achilles with an S plus in fortitude, so pretty good overall if you consider that Warrior's at the bottom and Achilles is pretty much at the top here. Asclepius is higher by 1. So yeah, you can see that we're pretty high up on the level of stamina. We have more than Pheon, which is great. We have more than Hades, which is great. And so we're going to be normal mobility right at the weight limit here of 104. So that's very good. And we're going to have 12 heals at 1.4 times 1.15 coming from EO. So we will have about 50-ish, something like that percent increase to our heal, so about half of our health bar in one heal. Now, since this is a Lord of Thunder DLC Blood Veil, we have a higher lightning resistance than normal, and we will be using Insulating Tonic and Raijin's Veil for the Hunters in Black, that we will be able to resist much of their damage if they use their lightning attacks. So that will be very, very nice that we can actually get in there and have some serious defense compared to what their damage output is going to be. Now these guys, we want to do Pierce Ice, which is what our Blood Veil is, and as you see here, about 7,000 damage is pretty decent overall, and we are able to smack these guys around pretty hard as we go along here. So we will have some considerable damage abilities here, and even though we have the weapon we do, we are able to take these guys down without any real problems here, all things considered. And now that we have procced our fire value, we are able to use that to considerable advantage here to help bring out the resistance from these guys in all of these regards, instead of using our ice value. So we do have the ability here to kind of mix up our ability set based on what enemy we are going up against. So it's very nice that we have something like the-wisp here to engage these guys at distance, while at the same time making use of our fire buff, which is only 5%, right? But we are able to use it to great effect here, just because of the ability that we have here to have multiple damage effects against the enemies. We have blood, ice, and fire here, which is great because these guys resist crush pretty hard, and they resist ice pretty hard, so they don't resist pierce very well. In fact, they have a weakness to it, and so our Blood Veil is kind of mixed bag ability here for those fellas. However, for the Hunters in Black, it is pretty devastating at 7,000 damage. It'll only take us a few attacks to get that off, and we will be able to kill them outright. So very, very good very, very good ability set here that we have for both of, or actually all of the enemies that we will be going up against here. So very, very nice. EO would call that success. So we will trust her on that one. Let's go for a charge attack here. Okay, great. Oops. Okay, and will-o'-the-wisp, even though it is kind of a goofy little gift, it sure does come in super handy when you need it to here to actually get some pretty staggering damage out on the enemy, meaning a very, very high balance damage gift, while at the same time having really good utility overall to attack enemies at distance. For example, this fella, once the monkeys drop into the arena, it will be very, very nice that we will be able to take care of them pretty easily here because of will-o'-the-wisp, and we will be able to hit these enemies at a distance here. Okay, and see here, we can stagger these monkeys over and over with our ability here, so that is great. Or we can just go and slap them pretty hard. Okay, there's one, and two, and slap. Okay, great. And we can kind of make good use out of their low balance and our high balance damage coming out of will-o'-the-wisp. So very, very good, all things considered here, for what this build is going for, because of the interactions we have with how we engage the enemies. So all things considered, it's pretty helpful and useful for what this area has to offer. Now for the next set of fellas, we definitely want to go for blood or lightning. Either one is acceptable. I'll go for blood just because that's what we have handy here, and we'll wait for gift extension and blood-sucking blades because it's only 5 seconds on cooldown, and this guy's 30 seconds on cooldown. So we will wait here just a few seconds for Lyle, but it's nice that we'll have blood and fire, so we can proc those two weaknesses on all of the fellas that are coming up here. Now we could go for lightning defense, or we could go for something else, but we will stick with the lightning story for now. Okay. Alright, and we won't need lightning resist until the very last fella, so we will keep that for now. And let's go for a backstab, and EO should be completely fine over there for those two fellas. Okay, and we'll get a couple of backstabs here on this guy. Now we will have to be very choosy here, because as we get further into the build set here with these fellas, we are gonna have to be careful, about getting hit and which of these guys we go up against, because we will have the chance that EO will die and I won't have a chance to save her. So very, very unfortunate there that she bit the dust, but we can always go back and bring her back if we need. There's really no reason to at this point. Okay, and great uses here of our ability. Oh, whoops. Okay, and to go for will-o'-the-wisp, because it's a pretty decent damage value, while at the same time it does have a pretty high stagger value set embedded into the gift itself. Okay, so we will just go ahead and speed back to our haze over there, as there's no real reason to actually wait around for any of these guys to engage them again, as it is all the exact same. and there is no difference in how we actually engage with any of this. So we'll just head on our way. Now the one thing we will have to do is get past the monkeys, and so that is something that we will have to kind of skirt past here as we get into this next area. And I don't know what Io is doing. I don't know why she decided to die. Very interesting. Oops. And so let's head back, and we'll bring her back, and then we'll continue on our merry way. Okay, so a little bit of setbacks here, but all things considered, not too big of a problem, as we can make our way through here easily enough. Okay, and you can see that we are using the halberd here to make sure that we float at the end, because if you use the Wrathful Balmung, you will stop halfway through the animation, and you will not get the most value out of what you have operating here. So keep that in mind. Yeah, don't get surrounded, whatever. Okay. Let's see if the monkeys decide to pursue. Does not look like it, so that's great. Okay, and let's bring back Will-o'-the-wisp. Will-o'-the-wisp is kind of a tough one to use because it has a dex and willpower requirement, and sometimes that is not the most friendly of skills to put together. So, okay. Hey Lyle, let's go. Where is everybody? Oh, okay. They are down there. So let's bring out our heal here, or eel. Okay. And let's go for cleansing light and blood weapon. Now the stone crushers are definitely problematic here. They are very damaging. They can kill us in one shot. They can kill Io as well, as you saw last time. And so we will have to be extra careful about those fellas and what they are going to do. Now we can't... Now we have to be careful here with Will-o'-the-wisp, as if we get too close to the wall here, we will not be able to actually attack anybody with it, because we will have the swirl around the back of us engage with the wall, and we will basically stunt our we will stunt our useful case for our gift. So we have to be careful of that and cognizant of where is the wall. Okay, let's go ahead and launch this guy. Now you'll notice that the Wrathful Balmung does not do too well versus these fellas, and that is just because of the fact that we are doing crush damage, and they are not real fans of crush damage. Okay, let's go ahead and beat that guy up. Okay, good. Great, that was a very, very, very last second decision there. Okay, great. Cleansing light's going. And it looks like we're going to get a couple of good attacks here on this fella. Whoops. Before, yep. Before this guy shows up. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and heal. So you can see there, we do get some pretty decent ability there. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and launch these guys. I did not want to launch one. I wanted to launch... Or, I didn't want to launch both. I just wanted to launch one. There we go. Okay. Whoops. Io, please. Thank you. Okay. And this should go for the kill here. Great. Okay. So, teamwork makes the dream work here. versus this set, and so we can go ahead and use a regen inducer. So because we get one back right here, so very, very good. So we can go back to ice if we want to fight the hunters in black, but we'll just stay with blood for now. And we did not use our lightning in time. Now if we want to fight the other fellas, we will want to go for the lightning veil, and that will do better for fighting the stone crushers. It will be a significant damage increase for what we are going against here. So we can switch around our damage values very, very nicely here, and it will help us significantly in these fights with these guys. So you'll see here 6427, very, very good damage. Okay, and as you see, we have no real high core problems, and we can just sit here and slap this guy a couple times, and as you can see there, we were able to stagger him very, very nicely at a distance with will-o'-the-wisp active. So that's great, and we're able to kind of switch our elements around here based on what enemy we're attacking, and we can make very good use of our 1 damage slot in the in this slot here. We can make really good use of it by switching it around to actually be used against the enemies that we want to be flipping back and forth between. So very, very nice that that's possible, and that we are able to kind of know which enemy we're going up against and what we are going to be doing. So here, definitely have the wrong veil active. Whoops. Whoops. Okay, good job, EO. Let's back up and... Oh. Oh. Okay. We can't hit him there. Okay, at least we got the parry and we got the kill. So 3 times the amount of damage that we were getting from the lightning veil to the ice veil. So very impressive there if you are playing to the element values. It will be a significant change in your damage output, which is why it's kind of important to know sometimes what enemies you're going up against and what are the damage sets that you're going to need. Because if you're just going for simply you know, a couple of builds and a couple of sets of damage, and you're not getting the damage output that you're expecting, then you might want to change things up and go for a different element, because sometimes that can make all the difference in how your damage compares to something else. So pretty amazing there, that one little change, and we are able to triple our damage output. And it's helpful in situations like this, where if you're kind of being a little bit sneaky, you're able to actually do some crazy DPS values. And so here, whoops. You can see that just because we were doing ice, we were able to completely slam that guy into the ground. And same thing here, we will stagger him over and over and over with our weapon here. Okay. And as far as weapons go, this is pretty much the exact same thing as the Queenslayer Greatsword. It's the exact same thing, except for we get the 5% fire buff and a much higher damage value, and it is a dex only sword. So pretty cool that we can have this weapon at a dex value and use it on something like Artemis, which is mainly not for a which is not for a weapon kind of class in a sense. This blood code is more all about going for bayonets and such. I mean, that's what Mia is built for, and so we are turning this into a melee build, and it's just because of the sword. So typically Artemis is not something you go for really any kind of melee ever. It's typically only a kind of distance gifting bayonet kind of blood code, but we have turned it into something completely different here, which is what makes it all the fun. Okay, now this fella, he heavily resists crush, and so it does make it kind of difficult here to go up against an enemy with a sword that he's doing exactly the resistance that we don't want to be doing. So then as we get through here, obviously we want to go for ice again, and we have the ice blood veil on, so that's very nice. Ice, nice ice. And so if we want to, we can even go for the ice version, as that will help us considerably more, but it's okay for right now. Okay, and we'll head around the side here, and we'll go for a bunch of attacks here, but he's going to stagger with every single attack, so that is completely fine. There is no real threat here for us. If we just take our time, we will be able to destroy this guy. Okay, good job, you. Okay, so now we've got monkeys in the ceiling here. Okay, and we definitely want to go for these kinds of attacks here at a distance to make sure that we don't have any real problems with the monkeys. Okay, and you can see that quick, fast-acting gifts like will-o'-the-wisp actually do pretty well for engaging with something like the monkeys, just because of the fact that we are able to stagger them very easily and play into their weakness of very low balance values. Okay, so let's give you some health and get some of our health recovered from that, so that's very good. And no drop. Okay, so that's the Crypt Spire, and everything that we were going to talk about here based on this set. Obviously we didn't get to use a whole lot of healing because it was either get hit and die, or don't get hit and survive. And so we did have 12 heals, so let's go ahead and use one more. And so now that we are down to 10, we could switch this out for something else along the way if we want. And when you get down to 8, you can switch this out for for regeneration shift. So those are some very high level healing politics that you can go through to understand how to actually get the most out of your regenerations if you are having some problems. Look at all these gifts, how nice. So yeah, this build set here, it works out pretty well for the Crypt Spire. It has huge damage levels here in the Wrathful Balmung, just straight up damage. This is no element value except for when we are using our damage element here. And so switching between these 4 elements is pretty key. These don't last very long. They only last for about 45 seconds here with gift extension. And so you have ample time to change these out, as they have very short cooldowns of 5 seconds. And the debuffs are very long cooldowns. So it's nice that we can kind of switch the element at will. And we have kind of a long distance ability here that can stagger the enemy and keep them away from us longer than we would normally have them running towards us. So Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and tomorrow we'll be doing the Blade Baron Cannoneer and Mito, and so it's always one episode for those two because things can go wrong very, 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 very quickly, and sometimes they can turn into their own episodes each. So either way, but that does it for today. Thank you guys, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.